Jordy here for Cinecom.net, and it is Tuesday, which means tips and tricks to help you make better videos. The intro that you've just seen and heard was sound designed. This is a process where you add sound to your scene in post-production. It's super important that you do this, as your entire film can fall into pieces if you don't. Let's have a look at a piece that wasn't sound designed. So let's look at that again with its sounds. Now, you don't need a huge library of sound effects or special equipment to record these sounds. We're using a simple on-camera microphone for the entire process. This is, by the way, the brand new Rode VideoMic Pro Plus that was sent to us, so thank you very much, Rode, for that. It's a gorgeous microphone that pops right on top of your camera, and it connects through a mini jack into your camera. It's a shotgun mic, so you're getting those warm, natural sounds. And what I really like is that the Pro Plus microphone turns itself on when you're turning on the camera. It notices that signal through the mini jack. Anyways, it's a superb microphone that I can definitely recommend. If you want to see an in-depth review, I'll leave a link to Max's video in the description below, or you can also visit the first link in the description to find out more. Oh, and by the way, my entire speech here is also recorded with this microphone. You can see it over there. That's the Sony a6500, and it's connected through a mini jack to the Rode Pro Plus, and I'm syncing this up afterwards with my GH5 over there. So the first thing that we'll do is just film everything we need. I do record all the sounds from my camera, but 9 out of 10 I won't be using it. While filming, I make sure to write down all of the handlings that Janik the constructor is doing. And, this goes really far. In this scene, Janik is measuring the wall. You might think we only need the sound of the tape measure, but we'll also record the frictions of his clothes, the tape measuring hitting the wall, and the pencil drawing a small line. To get a clean sound of this, I want to make sure that the microphone is as close as possible to these actions, which is why we record these sounds separate. Between these sounds, it's now quiet, and you want to make sure there's always some kind of audio. If you're working with music in the background, you can use that to fill in the gaps. Otherwise, you're going to need ambient sounds. For this, I'll just record the silence of the room for a couple of minutes, which I'll put underneath all of the other sounds. Interesting with this is that you can change the feeling of the environment with your ambient sound. For example, if you're filming an office on a Sunday, but you want to make it seem like there were a lot of people there, you could add crowded office ambient in the background. And we've talked about this before. Freesound.org is a great website to find such sound effects. Everything is free with the appropriate credits to the author. I'll leave a link to it in the description below again. This is great for when you're making a war-themed film. I don't think it's so easy to capture a war ambience. So this is the basics for sound design. It's really that simple. Now let's take a step further. We've talked about it before, that you want to record the sound of every handling. But how far do you push this? Well, that depends on how much you need to focus on something. The more detailed sounds you'll record, the more you're isolating the character and bringing the talent closer to the audience. Usually this goes together with the camera work. Let's assume that Janik is measuring and suddenly thinks about something dramatic, like he made a mistake. We're going to focus on him and capture the smallest sounds possible, like his hands touching his beard or the breathing through his nose. So by deciding how detailed your recording sounds, you can control how much you want to isolate the talent. This also goes together with the audio mix in post-production. By increasing the volume of those little sounds and decreasing the ambience, you're focusing even more on those details. So sound design has a lot to do with bringing the audience closer or further away from the talent. So by recording more details, you can bring the audience closer, but also by putting your microphone closer to the action. If you would film from far away and want to take distance from your talent, so should your microphone. So for this shot, we'll go and stand a little further away with the microphone to record the sounds of the falling pencil. So that was a small introduction to sound design. Rode, thank you so much for the microphone, and thank you guys for watching again. And as always, stay creative. If you guys are wondering how it's going with the studio, well, finally the first materials have arrived. This here is the installation, the rockwool panels. That is going to make sure that the acoustics and the sound isolation is going to be perfect here. You can already see it here in this wall. We've already started with the building, so that is going great.